Welcome to the first Boomer Technician video for 2026. It's like 15 degrees outside, so we're not going to a car show this week, but we did get an exciting box from eBay, so we're going to do an unboxing video like those kids do on TikTok. This isn't a part for the sole survivor or, I don't know, a new CD for the audio system. It's a valuable resource for working on old cars, and oh, it's nicely wrapped. The guy even taped it for us. So let's see what we've got. There we go. A genuine Hollander Interchange Manual, the 47th edition, which I think covers from 68 up to about 84. We'll take a look at the inner cover and see what else we can find out about it, but very exciting. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Hollander Manual, but for those of you who aren't, this was a reference book created in the 30s by a couple named Roy and Hilda Hollander, and the reference for salvage yards to determine what components on what vehicles interchange with other vehicles. And it's a big compendium, as you can see. There's a lot of pages to this, and it was outfit in Minnesota, and they went on to have a nationwide presence, and pretty much every scrapyard you'd go into in the 60s, 70s, 80s would have a Hollander manual, or they could cross-reference what parts fit what cars. And we take a look at the inner page here. You can see this is a 47th edition, and its copyright date is 1981. So these cover all domestic cars going back from 1981 to about 1968, 1969. It depends upon the car and the parts, but I picked this up because it's going to do a very good job of identifying what parts are common to other cars for my Mustang 2, and I've got some other vehicles around the shop that fit into this time frame, so it's great to have this reference material. You don't have to buy a copy. Most major libraries have a copy in the reference section. You can't typically take it home, but you can go over and photocopy the pages you need and put together the information you're looking for. Not a lot of people have covered the Hollander interchange, so I thought I'd kind of go through this copy and let you see exactly how it works and what information is here. These first pages are just guide pages, and we'll go ahead and zoom in here on this first section. This is the typical vehicle index, and there'll be an index like this for all the parts in the manual: starters, solenoids, radios. It's all here in the Hollander manual. And as you can see, this is covering Plymouth, and it gives you a Hollander number for all the components in this particular index. They didn't tell us which index this is, so I'm not sure exactly what parts they're referencing. But then if we flip over to the next page, we see an example of what they call the interchange listings. So in the interchange listings, we're looking at those Hollander numbers that were on the index, and each one of these numbers shows all the vehicles that number is present on. So there's a wealth of information on these manuals. It's just amazing. After the index and interchange examples, we've got contents for the book, and it is broken out by group and page number. So you can see all the various components that are in the manual. It generally covers major components, although it varies by section by section. As we get into driveline, you'll see that they actually break out ring gear and pinion numbers. So they blow the rear axle apart into pretty small pieces, but something like a power steering pump, they're just going to talk about the pump that bolts up to the engine. They're not going to break it out by case number or break out the internal parts of the pump at all. So it varies from section to section. The next section is general information, and it's got some really great information. In the 70s, every manufacturer had a little bit different layouts for the VIN. It all got standardized with a 17-digit VIN in 1981. But this book will break out the various different VINs from manufacturer to manufacturer. We'll take a look at that. It's got the certification plate decoding for Ford products. It's got GM Fisher body codes. It's got some truck identification information. And it finishes up with the model names used in this book. So not every model in trim level used by a manufacturer was used by Hollander. They group all the Buick C bodies under one heading. That last section will help you identify where the information is on your specific car. So let's go ahead and take a look at the VIN information page by page. I should say we're going to look at VINs manufacturer by manufacturer. So we're starting with American Motors. And you can see from the top here the year position, what's the second position in the VIN. And in 81, they went over to the standardized 17-digit VIN, just like all the other manufacturers. But as you can see under that heading for 1971, we can tell the manufacturer, the year, the transmission, the car line, body type, car series, engine, and then the serial number itself. So lots of good information on the VINs for each one of these manufacturers. We've got the same breakout here for Chrysler, and you can see up until 1981, instead of having the year in the second position, Chrysler had it in the sixth position. So that's a difference between American Motors and Chrysler. And they called out the car line, the car series, body type, engine year, assembly plant, and then, of course, the sequential number is the serial number. But you can see that the car line and series, as we knock down here a little bit, is broken out for all the product in every model year. So lots of good information here. Oh, wait, I've said that. Here is Ford Motor Company. And on their serial number, the first position is a model year. And then all they've got is assembly plant, series code, and engine code. So Ford chose to put a little less information in their VIN up until 1981. General Motors had some variations from 67 to 72, which is broken out here. And then once again, if we tilt down, we can see the VIN breakout information by division. So General Motors, a little more complicated than Ford or Chrysler. Okay, the next section we're going to do is engine, and that's a little different because it's not just a set of part indexes, but they've got a lot of information on engine identification in the first section. Starting with American Motors, they've got a conversion table here for displacements, but that's pretty easy information to get to. But this information on American Motors, this is a half page because American Motors has got such a small product line. Then it picks up with Chrysler, and that goes for about a page and a half. And then we go to Dodge Truck, which is also under Chrysler, but they use a different methodology. Next is Ford, and Ford has information on the engine tags that go back to 1964. There's a tag here where my finger is that goes from 64 to 73, and then they've made 3 different variants of the engine tag from 73 to 81, and this call out goes into great detail as to what all the information is. Hopefully it all stays in focus here. We'll zoom in real quick. And we'll go ahead and zoom out and go to the next page, which is General Motors engines. And there is page after page after page after page of GM motors, starting with 2-digit codes and moving into 3-digit codes, and it just keeps going on. So this book can be a treasure trove of information, just a huge amount of data. And then the last section is Jeep products, and once again the engines apply to them. Then finally we start with the parts interchange with the exhaust manifolds. So this whole section, all these pages here, are engine information for all the domestic manufacturers from 1971 to 1981. Okay, we're going to see how the interchange works, and what we're going to do is we're going to look up starter solenoid, which is group 56 here. And the reason we're doing a starter solenoid is they're applied pretty broadly across the product line. So we'll take a look there and see how many different cars a given interchange number applies to. So we'll jump over to starter solenoid. Then I'm going to zoom in on the Mercury links, mostly because it's in the middle of the page. And you can see there that the index number, the interchange number that Hollander assigned to the Mercury links is 127. So behind the index is the interchange itself. And let's zoom in on 127. And you can see not only do they give us the Ford part number at the very top, but they give us all the cars it applies to. So we've got 76 to 80 Bobcat, 80 to 81 Bronco, 79 Capri, 80 Capri, 80 Capri, 80 Capri. Goes all the way down to the bottom. Before I zoom out again. And section 127 starts here and continues on all the way to here. So all of these vehicles listed in here interchange with our Mercury links, and we get a starter solenoid off of any of them, and they will work just fine in our links. Well, that wraps up this episode. Not the most exciting episode ever, but if you're in the process of restoring a classic car and you need information on how the VIN breaks out, some of the features on the car, and most importantly, where you can go to find parts that fit that car, the Hollander Manual is a great resource. So head over to your library or pick one up off the eBay, and I'm sure you won't regret grabbing out of that information. 2026 is right in front of us. We need to do a little planning for car shows. So in the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about where I plan to go, and maybe you guys at the end of the episode can help me plan on some of the car shows in some of the states I don't know all that well. So looking forward to sharing that information with you, and I hope I can hear some good information from you next week when we talk car shows 2026. And with that, remember this: no matter where you go, there you are.